Hey, everybody, welcome. This is Justin, the professor of real estate, and I have Michael Tritthart with me. I've known him for several years, and the reason we're having this conversation today is we thought it'd be a good idea to talk about Google. We get the more out of Google. We hear Facebook this, we hear Twitter this, we hear Instagram this. But I don't want anybody to forget about Google, and I don't think Michael does either. There's so much power inside there that we don't want to do this. And just a little basic synopsis, Michael, if you want to add anything after I talk about you a little bit, you go for it. But Michael Tritthart, he's been training since at least 2001 that I know of. And he goes around training agents and other small businesses on technology. He also has a website company that's out there. I know I'm kind of shortening that conversation just for simplicity versus. He works on websites, does really great job with that. But I mean, really, I think his powerhouse is teaching people how to get the most out of the internet and how to do that. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So welcome, Michael. Anything you want to add to that before we get ourselves started?
Yeah, a little bit. I always kind of joke that when I do my trainings is I want to teach the people how to do all the free stuff and the easy stuff because I'm cheap and I'm lazy, just like the people I talk with, right? It's like, let's do all the free stuff first. And that is where Google really falls into first place for a lot of people because there's just so much free elements that we can use on the Google platform as a real estate agent, as a business owner to really propel our business forward.
Awesome. So I guess I was going to kind of take away the first question, but I'm going to ask you this straight out anyways. Why do we need to worry about Google? You know, we're all, you hear every day, Facebook, Twitter, right, Instagram, TikTok nowadays. I mean, I won't even touch that thing, but that's a whole different conversation. We hear about all this stuff and they're free for the most part. I have a different opinion about that, but essentially they advertise themselves as a free solution. Why do we need to be so invested into Google today?
Well, something I always say in all my classes, Google owns the world and we just happen to live in it. Now, I'm going to put a little asterisk on that because they own the world right now, but the U.S. government has filed an antitrust suit with them. So we'll see how much they own when that's all settled. But they are very powerful. They are very influential. And some people, and put all the cards out on the table. Some people will say, you know what, maybe a little too influential in certain instances. But one thing that cannot be doubted is the power of what their tools can do for business owners and for real estate agents. It's night and day difference.
Well, right. I mean, don't they have right now between that and YouTube the top three or two of the top three hits on Alexa from the most hit websites out there?
I mean, you know, they're the number one search engine in the world. They own YouTube, and YouTube number two. There's a tool that as we go in further, we'll talk a little bit more about it. But there's a tool within Google that is completely free for business owners that I teach agents and business owners on how to set up. And I've had people that have come back to my class 4 years later, stand up in front of 200 people in the room, and before the class starts, go, "Hey guys, I just want you to make sure you pay attention to what Michael's going to share. I've been making an extra $100,000 annually to my bottom line from what I learned in the last class. I'm here to learn more. You guys better pay attention."
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
It's huge. It's huge.
So I guess that actually perfectly leads into the next question I was going to ask you. So tell me, what are the top 2, 3, 4 things you think every agent, every small business person should be doing right now inside the world of Google?
The number one, and when I say number one, I'm saying like number one by a mile thing that everyone should be doing within Google is using Google My Business. And what Google My Business is, it's a free platform. And everybody says, well, wait a minute, what does it look like? The easiest way to find Google My Business is go out to Google, do a search for your favorite local restaurant. There should be a little block that comes up on the right-hand side that is very visual, has photographs of the place, has a review of the place, and all the pertinent information about it. That's Google My Business. And if I'm on a mobile phone, that's the first thing that comes up for you as a business owner, is this huge visual block. And I'll give you a couple crazy stats on it. The craziest thing, only 44% of the business owners in the United States have a Google My Business page set up, which is insane. And those that do have it set up, I guarantee you less than 10% are using the POSTS part of Google My Business. because they just don't get it. They don't understand it. That's been around as a new addition over the last 2 years, and most people don't even take advantage of that part, which is a huge, huge element of my business. And then the second stat, and I think this is maybe even more powerful than the one I just shared with you. If you go into Google My Business and you add in 150 photos of your business, and then these can be photos and short videos, like 20 seconds or less long videos. If you add in 150 of those, that will increase your consumer engagement by 1,000%, which is nuts, right? And so I have I run the mastery coaching program for masternetworks.com. When we meet every Friday via Zoom, and we've got business owners all across the United States that are in that mastery program. I've got one gentleman from Louisiana. He's an electrician. And we went through Google My Business. I took him through a 1-hour coaching session of Google My Business. A month later, we're talking. And I said, hey, how's it going for you? He goes, Michael, the phones will not stop. And this is awesome. He's like, this is exactly what I want. And he went in and put in 200 photos, did them all in mass. You know, you don't have to stagger this out. You can just dump 200 photographs in there. And almost immediately, the phones start to ring, because Google My Business is tied to, hey, I know Justin. Let me go look up Justin, right? But then it's also tied to the Google Maps part, right?
Sure.
So I can go and say, find a professional speaker near me. And if Justin is labeled as that, then he's going to come up on the map. And so we get people that, especially in the real estate world, you have buyers that are coming in out of town. They have no idea which realtor to use. They're so accustomed to using the map. It's like, where's a favorite restaurant? Where's a restaurant near me? They do the same thing for find a realtor near me. It's that easy. And it happens every day, 1,000 times over.
And that's awesome, right? And I think that's one of the huge things to understand. It does take a little bit of effort, but you're not talking centuries worth of work, which is what some of these things will require. And really, for most of us, I think the power of what you're talking about is it doesn't even require us to really have that tech savvy skill, right? I mean, me and you, we're the big old nerds on the block, right? We're the one.
Yeah.
We're going to break in. We're going to understand why this works. I mean, we're going to go to the level that no one needs to worry about.
Yeah. Most real estate agents are like, can I just get this set up and get out of here? That's truly what it is. And yes, you can. I mean, I teach a 2-hour-long class on Google My Business. And by the time you walk out of that, it's pretty much set up. And I tell them, I said, now that it's set, the only thing that you have to do is feed the machine. You only have to feed the machine 3 things, and that's photos, and that's reviews, like get people to write reviews about your business and respond to those reviews, and then do your post, POSTS. And if I'm a real estate agent, that's just listed, that's just sold, that's open house post. We just hired somebody to our team. If I'm a business owner and I own a restaurant, it's the monthly special. It's we are open and we're doing curbside delivery. It's this, it's that, it's whatever you want to do, right? I mean, there's just a lot of stuff, and so a lot of really crazy things that we can do.
And that's awesome. So let me ask you this: for the normal realtor, the normal, again, small business person who really doesn't want to spend any effort on this, truly, how hard is it to get started? I mean, how do I do this? How do I, again, we're not going to run through the whole class. We don't have time for that, but how do we, what are the first 2 steps? You talk about putting posts in, but how do I even get in there? Because we don't know where to find it. That's going to be a struggle.
Yeah. So the easiest thing with Google is just go out to Google. Like if you don't know how to find anything in this world, Google it. Better yet, YouTube it, right? To find the videos. But if you go out to Google, you're just going to do a search for Google My Business. And it's a very stark page that comes up with a big blue button that says, sign in. And if you're going in there for the very first time, it starts with what's the name of your business. And then you go and it's basically NAP, name, address, and phone. You're starting to fill in all the information for your business. And you go through all of that and you get to a point where it's like, okay, it's time to get verified. And you follow the steps on the verification process, which it may take, 4 days for the postcard to show up, which is the old school way that Google has always done it, is verification by snail mail. Some of you might have the ability to do it via text, via phone. But once you get that set up, you are then into the back office. There's a little bit of initial setup that you need to do on some of the pages, but then from that point on, it's photos, it's posts and reviews, and they give you an app that you can manage this on the go. So if you're out and about, again, as a real estate agent taking photographs of a community, you can just drop those in there. Somebody writes a review for you, you can respond to the review. And let me kind of touch on the review a little bit too, because again, don't fall into the lazy mindset of, oh, Justin just gave me a review, so my response is going to be, thanks, buddy, thumbs up, like a really short, cursory response. Don't do that. If somebody, I'm here in the Dallas area, so if somebody writes a review and says, Michael, thank you so much for helping us to find our new home. We love it. My response is going to be, it was a pleasure working with you and your spouse. You guys are a great couple. That home that you just bought in North Dallas is perfect for first-time home buyers. In fact, it's actually perfect for families. There's so much room for growth as you guys live here and start to grow your family. I'm so excited for you and excited for you being part of the North Dallas community. That's a response, right?
So why is that response so much better than just saying, hey, thanks?
Because I'm telling Google, because Google looks at everything. I mean, even if you go out to YouTube and you say something on a video, Google is listening, transcribing that. They check everything, every click that you do, everything that you add. It's all part of the, the big data. And basically when I write a review like that, I'm going in and I'm telling Google, this is who I am, this is what I do, and this is where I do it. And so whenever somebody writes a review for me about my training, I'm always like, hey, Justin, thank you so much for coming to that Google class in Allen, Texas, or whatever, whatever it is. And again, I just really want to hammer that with everybody. It's who you are, what you do, where you do it.
So you're thinking keywords in short, right? You're thinking that in there from a searchability perspective.
Yeah. Even one of the things that I do on my photos that I add to Google My Business, I will go in and I will watermark those photographs before I add them into the page. And I'll put my logo on those photos. Now, it's not a clickable logo,
right?
But it's, michaeltritthart.com, real training, real designs, real results. I created the logo in Canva years ago. And then I added it via an app on my phone, which is 3 letters, EZY Watermark Pro. I downloaded the Pro version of that app. And so whenever I go out and I get a photograph and I take that photograph while I'm working out, sitting at the doctor's office, wait for kids to get out of school or whatever, I'll go in and I'll watermark my photographs. Whenever it's downtime, I watermark my photographs, and then I upload them into my Google My Business account. Why do I do that? Well, some of my photographs in there have been seen 8,000, 10,000 times. And every time they're branded, it's just that reinforcement of what I do, where I do it, how I do it.
Yeah, that's a solid point, because I remember traveling when traveling was allowed.
Explain that whole theory of traveling. I don't understand that.
Right. And I would just take pictures and put them in for the Google reviews, right? And I still get pings all the time. Your photo's been seen 2,000 times. Your photo's been seen 5,000 times. And that's a huge point, because again, it is the #1 hit website basically in the world, definitely in the United States. And you have now just put your branding all over those pictures, so you can't be missed. Do you feel like there's going to be any consequence from that? Like somebody gets numb to it, or anybody starts saying, oh, it's just Michael at it again? Do you feel like there's a consequence that way?
I've never had that expressed to me. And I'll put it that way. I'll put it this way. I've been training real estate agents since 2001. Prior to that, I was a middle school and high school teacher and football coach here in the great state of Texas. So the whole Friday Night Lights, that was me. Somebody says that to me, my high D kicks in. I'm like, I don't really care, right? It's your opinion and you are entitled to it, but I'm entitled to what I'm doing. And if I want to brand my own photographs, I'm going to brand my own photographs. But see, this also transitions us away from Google My Business into something else that's very powerful with Google. It's almost like we flip the coin over and we go to local guides.
Okay.
Now, Justin, have you used local guides?
I'll be honest. I'm all over Google My Business. That you were in my wheelhouse, but now I think you're going to talk about something that I know of, but
Okay. So let's go through it. So basically, flip the coin over, right? And you go out to Google and you sign up for local guides, and everybody goes, "Oh man, I got to sign up for local guides. What's the requirement? What's the certification process?" Basically, you click a button that says, "Do you want to be a local guide?" And you're like, "Yep." And they're like, "Okay, Justin, you're a local guide. Congratulations." That's your certification process. Being able to click a button. Now let's say that we do this. Justin, what's your favorite local restaurant around you? Don't say
so for me, there's a Rosita's out by my town. Also.
Rosita. Okay. Sounds like it's Mexican food?
It is. Yep.
Okay. Now you go out there and you become a local guide. Then online, you go in and you write a glowing review about Rosita's because it is your favorite place. And so you're like, "Oh my gosh, I love Rosita's. I love the quesadillas. I love the service. I know the owner. He or she does a great job. Bop, 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 bop." And keep in mind, let's say you're a real estate agent. You're going to say something along the lines of, "I love this place so much that actually whenever I have out-of-town real estate buyers and we're looking for property, if we got time, I'm going to stop in for a quick lunch, quick bite to eat, just to kind of show them the local flavor." Again, what I do, where I do it, how I do it. I'm just dropping those little, "Hey, I'm a realtor. Hey, I'm this, I'm that." But whenever I write a review online about another business, now this is just me. I listened to my mother when I was a kid, and she said, "If you have nothing good to say about somebody, don't say it at all." Right? So every review that I write is glowing. Like if I don't write a review about a place I went, I didn't like it. But when I write that review and I'm like, "Man, Rosita's is the best. It is amazing." I mean, I'm writing a great review. The Google My Business owner on the other end of that is receiving that. So the owner of Rosita's is seeing that. And in 2020, in the midst of this, whatever the heck this is, year, right? And it's probably going to continue for who knows how long. Business owners need as much praise as possible right now, right? And as a community expert, if I'm a real estate agent or a fellow business owner, if I can pour into another person's business with praise, not just written praise, but actual photos of Rosita's, they're going to love it. And they're going to love it so much that they're going to remember me. And they're probably going to pour some of that business back into my business. We're all in this together, is my mindset, right? We're all entrepreneurs and business owners trying to make a living, trying to make a really good living. But there's a lot of good that you can do by helping others as well. Now, when I go out to Rosita's and I write that review, online, maybe I have some photographs from the last time I was there. So again, everywhere I go that I like, I'm taking photos of the signage, the entryway, and this can be restaurants, hike and bike trails. It can be anything you want. But I'll take those photographs and then I'll watermark those photographs. And when I write that review, I don't have to go out to local guide to write the review. I just go out to Rosita's page and I write that review. But then when I go out to local guides, I add those photographs on there. Now, they're watermarked photographs. Why do I do that? I've been doing it for a long time. If I go back and look, I've got in local guides 800 photographs plus, almost 900 now, that have been watermarked. Those photographs have been seen 1.3 million times. So again, free eyeballs on my business. In July, we went on a Yellowstone trip for 10 days. It was amazing. We loved it. Family trip. Stayed out in a cabin away from everybody, which is exactly what you want to do right now, right? So we're out there on our own, but we went and we did a bucket list item for me, which was to whitewater raft the Snake River. Always wanted to do that since I was a kid. It was a blast, right? We got a great photograph of our family having some fun on that. And the tour guide was amazing. He did an awesome job, and the whole shop did amazing. So I added a photograph of our family on the whitewater raft. I put that out there like August 2nd. I just looked yesterday. That photograph has been seen 76,000 times.
Name something on Facebook that gets that eyeball.
Banner right on the front of it, right on the front of the raft. And they don't mind. I've never had one business owner complain. Not one.
Yeah, and see, I think that what is killing me, that's awesome, right? Having those watermarks for that. I'm glad you said that because that was going to be the question: are you watermarking those too? But I think the biggest thing you just told me is, 76,000 times or 7,600, 76,000, whatever.
Yeah, 6,000 times for that one photograph.
I name another tool that gets you those eyeballs.
Google owns the world, right?
Right. That's awesome. So with local guides, obviously you weren't even, I mean, you're not local to Yellowstone.
Right.
And so you still can do that. As long as you mark yourself as a local guide is, I would assume you're saying is a relative term then at this point?
They basically just say, where are you positioned? What's your city? So when hey, I'm a local guide here in McKinney, Texas. Great. Now you can write a review anywhere that you go around this world. And if you go out and you look at Rosita's Google My Business page and you look at the reviews, you'll see a bunch of them. There will be some that are designated as local guide.
Gotcha.
And you'll see them typically near the top. It's kind of like, oh, Justin is local guide. Mr. VIP just walked in, wrote a review. Let's kind of move him to the top. Oh, even better, he added some photographs to it. Let's move him really to the top. And what's kind of interesting about local guide is they made it a gamification process. So
Foursquare, right?
Yeah, always. When you sign up today, you're level 1. Well, Justin, go out and write your first review. You're level 2. And you're like, oh, that was easy. Well, then you get to level 7, which is where I'm at, 7 of 10. And I've got to I think I'm at 7,000 points in the gamification process. I got to get to 15,000 points. And if I ever get to level 10, it's 100,000 points. I mean, they start to stretch you the more you go. But here's the crazy thing about doing local guides. By the time you get to like level 4 and 5, they start inviting you. Now, this is all pre-COVID, so we'll see what happens when we start ramping back up. But they start inviting you to local Google-run entrepreneurial startups and meetups for other local guides. It's like, oh, let's get all the local guides in Illinois together.
Oh, cool.
Which is kind of cool. Then you get to levels 5, 6, and 7 and up, and then you start getting invites for a contest. And if you win the contest, you kind of have to earn your way in and show your worth. But if you win that, then you're going to be one of 200 people that get 4 days of training at Google headquarters out in California, right? So kind of exclusive perks as you go along. I kind of joke in my class. It's like, well, if you sell us your data, I mean, your soul, we'll give you free trinkets along the way, right? And everybody's like, sign me up. This is great. This is awesome.
Well, and you think about this from the real estate perspective, right? I mean, it's our whole job to be out and about. It's our whole job to be in front of people, and I mean, that's great. You can door knock all day long and be in front of people, but that's maybe not the most effective use of our time. Although I like door knocking a lot. Being at businesses, building those relationships, those people that are the community influencers are huge. And this is an easy way to quite literally get 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Yeah. I mean, you're getting out there meeting the people you want to meet, but also getting some internet cred for it all at the same time.
Yeah.
Becoming the local expert, quite literally.
Totally. I mean, again, I tell real estate agents this all the time and very visible business owners all the time. Whether you like it or not, you are a public persona. People know you. They have heard of you. They listen to you. They follow you. They may not always agree with you, but I mean, they know you're there. And so you've got to treat that responsibility as such. You need to be returning the favor to these businesses that you patron. You need to be writing these reviews. And one of the most powerful things that anybody can do is open up their database, find 10 other business owners in that database, places that you have either patroned or from an ethical point of view that the owner of this business is just top notch, and you need to go out and write a review for their business. It's the best thing that you could do for them right here, right now, but it's the best thing that you could do for yourself as well too, because they're going to return the favor. They're going to start sending you some business. You're going to take them from being like just a friend, an acquaintance, and they're going to come into your inner circle and become an allied resource. They're going to be part of your core advocates. And that is exactly what you want.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way I do it currently, although it'll shift my thinking a little bit, I will not stop doing Chamber of Commerce stuff, but I like doing the Chamber of Commerce 'cause I'm getting around and meeting those people. But I mean, how powerful it is to sit there and have those conversations. And if they're doing their job at all, looking on Google saying, oh yeah, by the way, you're a local guide and you just gave me huge kudos and you're relevant in Google's world. So let's talk.
Yeah. Yeah. And everything, again, kind of getting to our probably our big final, topic of Google, the big three is what I always call them.
Yep.
It takes us into the geographic aspect of Google, and they have what's known as Google My Maps.
Yep.
Have you ever done a My Map?
Yep, I have.
Okay. So they've been around like 12 years. And I was teaching a class in Austin, Texas, and My Maps had just come out maybe 6 months in advance of that class. So I'll walk in, we got 100 people in the room, ask the group, has anybody in here ever done a Google My Map? And a lady raised her hand, Julie Nelson, she was Keller Williams, now EXP. Known her for a long time. She's a great lady. And she goes, yeah, I've done a real estate map. I said, great, let's pull it up. What map is it? What's the name of it? Oh, just do a search for Austin taco maps. And I was like, wait, what? Fucking real estate. She goes, I know, just go with me. And so we go out and we do that search. 12 years ago, she was number one. If you go out and do a search today, she's number one still. Because Google loves Google more than any other company that's out there. Products, they will never say, well, Justin, if you do this, we're going to rank you number one. They'll never say that. You just see it in the actions, right? So her map has been number one for 12 years running. And it literally is a map of all of the taco joints in Austin, Texas. And the reason why she put it together, multiple clients telling Julie, love the house, love the view, love the price, love everything about it, except for one thing, we can't live here. And she's like, well, what's the one thing? I can't walk to the local taco place. I can't walk to these tacos, right? People making life decisions of where they're going to live based off of taco. Now, right now, everybody on this, watching this is going, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, right? But then you start thinking, well, wait a minute, take tacos out of the equation. How many of you as a real estate agent or as a buyer have ever said, we've got to live here because it goes into XYZ school district or feeds into the elementary that everybody tells me that my kids need to go to, or it's right near the hospital because we have a sick family member, or I'm an elder at the local house of worship and I have to be there within 20 minutes in case there's ever an emergency for the congregation or synagogue or whatever it is, right? And those are the reasons why people buy houses. It's the amenities. It's not always the house. So from a real estate point of view, I can go in and share that, all those different types of amenities. And then something else I can do. Justin, how long have you been in the real estate world? Since 2001?
2006.
Okay. So I've got some agents that have been in my classes that have been doing this for 30 years, 40 years, right? I mean, they've been doing it a long time. And one lady here in the Allen, Texas area, her name is Pam Heinrich. We helped her to put her website together. And this is part of the website designs that we do. And what we did is we put all of the homes that she's ever sold in Allen, Texas on a Google My Map.
Oh, wow.
She goes out and says, I'm an Allen, Texas real estate expert. People go, well, are you, Pam? I mean, are you really? And she goes, yeah. I mean, here, look at this map. Here is the color-coded green, which is the buy side, and the red is the sell side. And it's just this map that is just overpowered with buttons, house buttons all over it. And then she's had people go, wow, yeah, I guess you are an Allen, Texas real estate expert. And that's when she goes, yeah, I am, right? So here's the listing presentation. You're just going to go in and sign right there, and we're going to add you as a button here in about a month or so. Slam dunk, right?
67% of us are visual learners, right? So, I mean, that speaks volumes.
Nobody wants
a lot of stuff to do.
Nobody wants to read. You give them a list of words, their brain right now in today's world is like, oh, words.
What is it? TMDR, too much, didn't read.
Exactly. So a little caveat to that, I'll give you two. I was teaching that class in Vancouver, British Columbia, right? don't feel sorry for me. I have to go to Vancouver and teach every once in a while. You know,
As long as it's not in January.
not in 2020, unfortunately, but nobody's going anywhere. But I was doing this class, and it was actually in 2019, and one of the vendors was in there, and it was a home warranty company, and he was just there to be the vendor. Like, hey, I'm paying, a portion of the class, and I'm just going to hang out. And I told him, hey, hang out, grab a seat, use this because it's for all business owners. So we get to the Google Map part, and I just explained what Pam was doing, and I said, you guys can pull a spreadsheet and just drop it right in there. And we were going into a workshop. And then about 5 minutes later, in the middle of the workshop, I hear him go, oh my gosh. I mean, just like he almost fell out of his chair. Thought something bad had just happened. I go over there. He had taken a spreadsheet of all of the home warranties that they had ever done since the inception of the business, popped it in on the map, and the whole valley of Vancouver just filled in with all of these blue icons. So he's like, I always had the list, but I never understood literally how many homes we have sold home warranties to in this area. He goes, this is amazing. Just that visualness of it all is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's crazy. With Google Maps, if I remember right, it's been a while since I've played with it lately. Right. You can make them public or private, correct?
Yeah. So if it's a map that is something that's private, let's say you got out-of-town buyers, it's a very short shelf type of map, shelf life type of map. It's like, hey, here's a list of all the places we're going to go when you guys are in town. You can create a map like that. But I like to make maps that are public. They're going to stand the test of time. Another one that's really good is if you go out and Google search Legacy West map, that pulls up a search result typically of almost 200,000 results in the North Dallas area. Legacy West here in North Dallas, specifically Plano, that's where Toyota moved their headquarters to. So they came from California and they moved to Legacy West, right next door to Frito-Lay, right next door to all these other FedEx, all these other big headquarters that are based there. So Legacy West is a very high dollar area, and they have a tower in there called Windrose Tower. It starts at $625 per square foot for the apartment. Wow. I mean, we're talking bucks, right? So we got agents that go, I want to be Legacy West, and one of those agent groups, it's Ron and Terry McCoy. My McCoys is their website, and their little slogan is the real McCoys, right? Which is great. And so we built their website. We also blogged for them, but very important aspect of it too is we created a Legacy West map. And we showed where, hey, here's Toyota headquarters is, here's where all the amenities are. And we put that on the website. But then every time we blogged about anything new coming into Legacy West, we always incorporated the map into the blog post. So the map itself is on their website like 35 times over, right? Like we just kept including the map in new articles. If you go out and do a search for Legacy West map, their map will show up on the first page 3 times, typically 2 to 3. One of those links is actually a link from the Windrose Tower apartment complex. They love the map so much, they took the map and embedded it into their website. That's a touch. Nice. And they've sold at least 2 apartment complex, or not complexes, but apartments that can be traced back to the map itself. So 2 apartments starting at $625 per square foot because they invested some time and effort into a Google My Map.
And you got something from that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I wish, right? I wish I had a tip jar for those clothes. But we helped them with the website, which is our job. We helped them with blogging and the mapping, which is our job. Our job is to make you guys look better, and that comes from the training, but it also comes from the website design that we can do, and we do that for all business owners. It's not just exclusive to real estate.
So one of the questions I have for this, because I know it's going to pop up, because a lot of us, especially now, but there are brokerages that are out there that are more virtual in nature. How much does any of this come into play, or how much does this change how this works, right? I mean, we have plenty of brokerages now that have a virtual model, right? They do have a physical building a lot of times, but most of it's virtual. So does it change anything we do with this?
It doesn't, it doesn't really change from the Google side of things. I think overall mindset, it makes agents start to wake up a little bit of, oh, there really is a huge virtual aspect to my business. And it's not just a website. and there's just so many other avenues and angles for me to get my brand out there and do it at a very cost-effective way. And, Google My Business, Google My Maps, local guides. That's 3 big ways of doing it all and doing it all for free. The one thing I do want to caution everybody about, especially when we're talking websites and SEO and things like that, a lot of times brokerages will provide you a website that, maybe it's free, maybe it's part of the package, maybe it's a little bit cheaper. That's good. That's okay. It's not the best. It's not the worst. But if you ever decide to leave that brokerage or go start your own brokerage, then you pretty much have to start over from square one. And so what we have made a commitment to do, and we started doing this about 6 years ago, we made a commitment to build on WordPress.org a platform that is not broker owned, but it's agent owned. It's you, the business owner. Now, if you decide to stay at your brokerage forever, that's awesome. We're not here to sway you one way or the other. But what we are here to do is to create a website that can go with you no matter where you go, whether it's out on your own, with another brokerage, whatever, so you don't have to start over. Because we had a lot of clients that in years past, we were building on broker-specific websites, and then that platform would get changed, and there was frustration. There was frustration on the agent side. I just set this up 12 months ago, and I got to change it. And there was frustration on my design team. We just set this up 12 months ago. Now we got to do it again. It's like, we don't want to do that. That's not good for business. It's not good for the consumer. Our goal is to make you guys not only better, but get more leads. We don't want to sit here and just keep spinning the wheel. And so that's why we went with that agent-centric mindset.
Right. It's easier to make a name change than a whole identity change, right?
Yeah, totally. So it's been very beneficial.
So it brings up another question for me. I know a few agents right now. I live in Illinois, and Illinois has reciprocity with several states, one of them being Florida. And everybody's leaving Illinois.
We're out of here, yeah.
So, but they haven't necessarily left their business, right? They still got plenty of business, just referring it out. They still got plenty of that business. And if they move to another state and they want to continue their business, so they haven't changed their name, they haven't changed their business name. I mean, obviously they'll have a different one with location.
Right.
How do they handle, or how much do they have to worry about now changing their Google My Business, their, that particular part of it? How much is that going to affect that now?
No, it's a great question. So here's the beauty of Google My Business. It's one log into Google, right? And that could be your Gmail account. It could be what used to be known as G Suite. They now call it Google Workspace.
Right. Yeah, recent change.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, right? And if you log into either one of those, think of Google My Business as an umbrella, right? And so within there, you can set up a location for Justin and your business in Illinois. But then if you have an expansion team that goes to Texas, you can set up another page within the same account. And then you can do one for Florida. So think of it this way. You're a Subway shop franchise owner, and you got 10 locations. You got one Google My Business account that's the umbrella, and then underneath there's all your different locations. And the beauty of that is you have the ability to also go in and set up who are the users. So Justin's going to be the owner, but maybe you have an admin that's going to be your marketing person. And if you go in and do that, then they are the ones, like I have an admin on my team. She's the one adding in the post, the photos, all the maintenance type of stuff. So that kind of can alleviate the time crunch that comes with all of this. But the fact that you have it all in one account, let's say you set up that team out in Florida and they do a great job for like 3 years. And all of a sudden the team manager decides, you know what, I'm going to go start my own team. Thanks so much, Justin. I'm out of here. Right. Well, because you set it all up in your Google My Business account, you don't have to worry about that Google My Business page walking out the door when that manager leaves. You still own it. You still can control it. And then you just plug somebody else in there. And if you set it up the right way like that, then it's amazing, and I'm in the process of doing that with Master Networks. They have regions all across the United States. We're creating one account, and we're in the process of finishing out all the pages for the
very cool
regions. So
you could do this. I never thought about that. So you could do this with networking groups and other things like that. It doesn't even have to be just a business per se. I was thinking that one never occurred to me. I thought it pretty literally, right?
Yeah.
Thought about it pretty literally.
It's just Justin. It's just me. No. Well, let's say you have a business partner. How many Google My Business pages would you have if it was just you and another business partner that's licensed in real estate?
Well, until I talked to you now, I would have said one.
Yeah.
So,
Technically, it's three because it's you, it's your partner, and then
the
business name that you guys go under. Because some people go, well, I know Justin. Others go, well, I know the partner by name. And then others go, I don't know Justin or the partner, but I know, the name of the real estate company. And so there's three in that case.
Well, now here brings up the next question with that, because I can already hear some realtors saying this. Are you telling me I got to post 3 times?
No, I'm telling you that you go in and you take care of your page, but you can also set the partner to be the owner or the manager of their page. And if you are running a team, then you probably have an assistant.
Right, doing that.
And this is where your assistant really falls into play for that, right? So you focus on your 20%, let the assistant focus on the 80.
So one last question for you along the Google side, because it's something that I've been telling a lot of people right now, because there has been change. For me, I don't know what it is with people I'm working with and talking to. They're changing, right? So they've moved from brokerage to brokerage, as you talked about, and all that stuff becomes a big pain. And I keep telling them, stop doing that. Create your own, well, I was calling it G Suite, but now workplace. Right. How much are you encouraging that? I mean, I know it's money. I know what we've talked about up until right now has all been pay or free.
Right.
And doing a domain and a G Suite workplace is going to cost you about $100 probably all in the end for a year.
Yeah.
How much are you teaching that or encouraging it? Or is that something you're just saying, don't worry about for now? I mean,
I encourage it. I encourage it for the business owners. They're going to treat their business like a business. And the reason why is you're spending with Google. If you go that route, you're spending $6 a month minimum. The suggested amount is $12 a month, and that's per user. But if you do the $12 a month route, every single user gets 2 terabytes worth of data.
Right.
For their account. That's insane. 2 terabytes, right? For $12 a month. I mean, you go back 10 years ago, people would anybody who's a tech would look at you and go, what?
Right. That doesn't even exist. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? You're talking a foreign language, 2 terabytes for $12. That's just nuts. But what you also get is you get shared access to all the documents. So if you are planning on growth, which every business owner should be planning on growth, you either grow or you die. What are you going to choose, right? And if you're looking to grow your business, you should be looking at that type of service, because you have shared docs that you can communicate with everybody on the team. You have a custom branded domain name. You have extra storage space. You get 24/7 support from Google, which is another thing that's a really big part. Like you can actually talk to somebody from Google, which is kind of crazy when we say that, but it does happen. So yeah, if you are a serious committed business owner, you should do it. My team does it. My design team does it, and it works very, very well for us.
Yeah, I couldn't encourage it more. I have one myself. I actually have 2 at this point in time for different businesses that I'm running myself.
Right.
But again, you have given me homework. I didn't realize me doing this. I was hoping to give other people homework, but you've given me, because I went, oh shoot, now I got to create it for the other business.
Right. Well, and so it's funny that you said that. So the scroll that we have down here at the bottom for everybody, where it has Google Biz Secrets, that's a bit.ly link that I put together, and the G and the B and the S in Google Biz Secrets, that is capitalized. That's a bit.ly deal. But I would teach a Google class, and I would have people go, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome! I love this. Can you come to my house and show me how to do this? I'll feed you steak and lobster." And I'm like, "No, not doing house calls. That's a little weird, right?" But what that motivated me to do was to take 3 1-hour training sessions where you see the screen, you hear me, you don't even see me, you're focused on the screen, and it's like me standing on your shoulder, kind of walking you through how to do everything. That has 3 1-hour training sessions on Google My Business, local guides, Google My Maps. People can watch that as many times as they need to truly get it. But the true power of that page, I created an ebook on Google My Business that I wrote. And it's titled, Earn an Extra 100K Annually from Google My Business. But what I did is, if anybody goes there and buys that training, it's a one-time fee. And if you go there and you buy that training, you get a copy of that ebook that you can then put your logo on the front of the cover of the ebook and turn around and share that ebook with any business owner that you know, that's in your community, that's in your database.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Justin, I know you own a donut shop in the Illinois area. Would you like to make an extra $100,000 for your donut shop every year? Justin, the donut shop owner, is going to go, yeah, absolutely. Great. Here's an ebook. Go check this out. And it's got all the information listed for Google My Business, but it's got that consumer's brand on it. It's like they wrote the book. And that's fine. I don't care. But
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's coming from contribution. We want you to win. We want you to win in your community, because if you win in your community, I mean,
coming from abundance rather than scarcity always wins every day.
Always.
So that's awesome. Well, I appreciate that. And you just gave the plug. I was going to ask you to plug anything else you want to plug, anything else you want to show.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to know more about the training that I do and what my website design team could do, all they got to do is go to michaeltritthart.com. We've got it all right there. Something we didn't even talk about, and maybe this will be part 2, is ClickFunnels, right? And we build on ClickFunnels. So we do websites and we do the ClickFunnels, and everybody goes, "What the heck is a ClickFunnel?" It's something that everybody in this world has used. They just don't know that they're using it. And it's those sites where you go to buy the flashlight for $19.99, and you buy the flashlight, and then they go, "Well, Justin, congratulations on your purchase. But wait, there's more. Before you leave, you bought 2 more, we'll give you a 3rd one free." You're like, "Oh, that's a pretty good deal." And then you swipe the card again, and then they go, "Well, wait a minute, before you leave, we also have this." And you're like, "Oh, that's pretty good too." So you went there for a $19.99 flashlight. By the time you get off that site, you've spent $130, right? That's ClickFunnels. And it's perfect for business owners, for real estate agents. If you have an item of value, and that value can be your knowledge as an expert, if you have an item of value, you can go in and share that information. And that's what we do.
That is so cool. And yes, we are definitely going to bring that up in the next episode, because I think lead generation, especially along the landing page, is such an underutilized technology from our business. The only landing page I see 90% of realtors using right now is "check out my home."
Yeah.
or what's your home worth? That's the 2 ones you use.
They could be doing, for sure.
And there is so much more out there. So I can't wait to have that conversation with you. I really appreciate you being on, Michael. Thanks for your time, and we'll talk again.
Absolutely. It was fun. Definitely.
Thank you, sir.
All right.